fellow YouTubers, this is Yuto Moses here for another one of my DVD reviews for the movie Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, being that the third movie, Transformers The Dark of the Moon, is coming out, which I thought was this week, but it was really next week. Here's Transformers the movie.
But we were all...
The movie follows a young man named Sam Witwicky, who happens to be the grandson of this archaeologist who explored all around the Arctic parts of the world, and he discovered a transformer back then. And when Sam finally got his new car, it turns out that it's an alien robot that came from space, of course, and he's known as Bumblebee, which leads him to the rest of the Transformers, of which they call themselves Autobots, and finally meets Optimus Prime and tells him everything about the race along with the enemy that he's fighting against, known as the Decepticons, and about this cube that's able to bring all life to any inanimate object, known as the Allspark. And on Earth, they're going to finalize the war between the two races. Now, this movie is filled with a lot of Michael Bay's trademark stuff, such as stereotypical humor, the eye candy for the man, and action-packed explosions that we see a lot so often.
Michael Bay presents Explosions!
But that action-packed aspect of it is acceptable for a movie based off the Transformers series, although most of the time it focuses on the perspective of the humans, on about where these things come from and what the intentions are on Earth. And I know this is the first movie and they're just trying to find out who they are, but still, there are parts in it where they're battling each other between the Autobots and the Decepticons, and they just cut out of those parts to something else that doesn't interest us as much as those parts. Now, as for the Transformers themselves, I thought they looked great, although when you see them battling each other at the end, it's really hard to distinguish which is which because they're mostly gray, and the only two that stand out in there was Bumblebee and Optimus Prime, who, by the way, I have to say that the voice of Optimus Prime is provided by Peter Cullen, who did the original voice for him in the Transformers cartoon series and the movie back from the 80s. And that's not counting a few of the newest series, like Cybertron, Armageddon, Robots in Disguise, or any other media that he was featured in. So, stick with the original series. There isn't much to say about acting because pretty much everyone in this sucks, and it doesn't really help when the camera keeps on cutting to Megan Fox. And the reason why we watch this is because we want to see the robots that we grew and loved the hell out of as a child on the big, glorious live-action screen. But even then, Michael Bay finds a way to screw it up and make the Autobots look like a bunch of clowns when they start saying lines like "kicking it" or "my bad," and having them rip off lines from other movies like Dirty Harry, and just have them screw around in one scene.
What are you doing? What are you doing? No, watch the path! Watch the path! Watch the path! Please, please, please! No, wait! No, no!
Oops, sorry, my bad.
Oh, you couldn't wait for 5 minutes. You couldn't wait for 5 minutes. I told you, just stay! Just stay! Mojo, off the robot! God. Wait, no, easy, hold on. This is Mojo. He's a pet of mine. He's a pet. Okay, that's all. Put the guns away. Put them away.
You have a rodent infestation. Shall I terminate?
No. He's not a rodent. He's a chihuahua. This is my chihuahua. We love chihuahua.
A few more things I want to say is that the CG, like I said before, looked great on the Transformers. I liked a few of the funny moments in the movie, like the interrogation scene with Anthony Anderson. And I found the climax battle of the movie to be the highlight point, while most of the beginning and middle was, I thought they were just really dragging on, just trying to explain everything in the most goofiest fashion. And every time I watch this, I give myself this thought about, I think some other director would have done a better job than Michael Bay, and before I gave it a reasonable rating, but now it kind of dropped by a half. Out of 5, I give it 3 out of 5 stars. It is good to watch on TV or if you feel like it on video, but as for Revenge of the Fallen, I'm not going to really talk about that one. It is worth a watch, just not really worth owning on video. So that's all for my review. Stay tuned for my review for The Dark of the Moon, I believe the third one is called. So, rate, comment, and subscribe, and I'll be back later. Until then, this is Utah Moses, signing out.